everyone, this is Demel of Heartwood Financial Services. Hey, thanks for joining us for another video. As you can see, this is going to be a video on financial education. We're turning this into a two-part series because I couldn't fit it all into one video. It's going to be on retirement income planning. And today's video is going to be on understanding the key risk in retirement income planning. The second one is going to get into some of the solutions to address those risks. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy. So first, let's start with telling you the story of Laura and Lou. Laura and Lou have been working hard for many years, and it finally got to the point where they got enough of a nest egg where they can retire. You can see how happy they look there to the left. They have about $1 million that they want to invest so they can supplement their retirement. But they have a withdrawal need of about $50,000, which if you do some quick math, you can see that's about a 5% withdrawal rate. And then we have the story of Helen and Henry. They're equally as excited to get into retirement mode. In fact, they probably look like they've been retired for a while. Actually, these are stock photos, but you get the hint. So both of them are looking at retirement with the exact same nest egg, the exact same withdrawal rate. And so they have the same questions, how much income will you need? How long will you need it? What will inflation look like? How much will you want to leave to your beneficiaries? Now these are all going to be dependent on their situation, and it's a personal thing. And so this is one of the things that when you do financial planning, you really dig into and you find out these things from the clients, and then you start to design the portfolio. But for today's video, I want to highlight the risk that's called sequence of return risk. Okay, maybe you heard of this. And so I'm going to show you the story of Laura and Lou, Helen and Henry, and how they can be dramatically different depending on the sequence of returns. And so to best illustrate the sequence of returns, we have to do two hypotheticals. And what I'm showing you here is the exact same scenario. They both have $1 million, and they're both taking out $50,000 a year, and we're adding an extra 2% for inflation each year. Now, what happens is the returns look different, but they're actually the same, just put in a reverse order. As you can see, the first year for Laura and Lou, they're down 9%. The first year for Helen and Henry, they're up 31.49%. And if you noticed, 31.49% is what Laura and Lou made in their last year, and Helen and Henry lost 9.1% on their last year. So basically in reverse order. Now when you do the math and you look at their total return over time, it's the exact same. But what changes things is, you can see here on the right side of this column, you can see their accounts grow and up and down in different fashions, of course, because of the different return profile. But what happens, which is I think startling to a lot of people, is Laura and Lou end up with a negative amount at the end of the 20-year period, which basically means they ran out of money 18 years in, where Helen and Henry don't run out of money. In fact, have a nice surplus that ends up in their account. Now, how in the world does this happen? They made the same returns. Well, they made the returns at different times. And when you introduce withdrawing money from your account, it changes the whole ballgame. If you've ever heard of the concept of dollar cost averaging, where you're adding a certain amount every month, it builds up wealth very nicely, because when the market's down, you buy more shares. When the market's up, you buy less shares. This is dollar cost averaging in reverse. So when you do dollar cost averaging in reverse, you run the risk of having these negative years, especially right at the beginning, that can be very harmful, because you can put a nice little dent into your nest egg, which then 5% withdrawals is really not 5% withdrawals anymore. Imagine year 3. They're actually taking out more than 10% withdrawals at that point. And 10% withdrawals is unsustainable over a long period of time with the market. So you can see how their portfolio goes down. So this is what's called sequence of return risk. Now, when you do financial planning with most financial advisors, including myself, we will run what's called a Monte Carlo analysis, where we will run lots of different scenarios and give you the probability of success. And so this is trying to help you avoid the sequence of return risk. And the higher probability that you get, obviously, the less chance you have of something like this happening. And of course, the lower rate of withdrawal that you make just increases those odds. As you can imagine, 5% withdrawal versus a 3% withdrawal is going to make a big difference in the plan. And so if, let's say you can't change your withdrawal rate, you have to stick to a certain amount, and so you're in that area of probability that maybe is right around 70%, maybe even 80%. So it's not like super, super high, but it's pretty high. It looks pretty good. But you want to just add some security because of this potential risk of sequence of returns. What do? So that's what we're going to talk about next. All right, now you understand sequence of return risk. So in the next video, I'm going to get into the basic 3 strategies that are out there. There's actually a lot more different variations, but I'm going to boil it down to these 3 strategies that I'm going to discuss with you to mitigate that risk. It's basically interest-only strategy. You got the systematic withdrawal strategy, and then you have the bucket strategy. So if you're dying to know a little bit more about these strategies, you can't wait till next month, till the next video comes out on this. You can give me a call. I'm happy to tell you all about it. But I hope you guys tune in for next month, where we're going to discuss in more detail each one of these strategies. Thanks a lot, guys. God bless.